Hey guys, it's your boy Pakistani Pepper, and this is another Pakistani Pepper blog where I teach you about something cool. Which is ironic because I just opened it up to something that I was learning myself. Anyway, a lot of people ask me, how do you build a PC? And the thing is, I'm not technical enough to answer. But what I am technical enough to do is find websites where they can do it for you. So the first thing you want to do when you want to build your own PC is you go to this website, CyberPowerPC.com. It's not the only website that lets you customize and build your own PC so they ship it to you, but it's the best mix of quality, price, and customization. Now, what does that mean? Well, quality, obviously they have really good parts. Some websites will have more, but they also cost a lot more. They allow you to really customize. I don't think I've seen this level of customization on a lot of sites, and they actually build it for you. And even though it costs more than the stuff at Best Buy or whatever, it lets you pick where you want to spend your money. So once I'm on cyberpowerpc.com, here's what I start doing to build my own PC. I'm going to go to basically most of their deals where you start seeing what they're selling right now. And one of the really cool things that CyberPower does is that if you actually look at it, they let you decide what base model you want. Like, there are some here that are really insane in terms of price, but I'm sure that would be great for someone who could afford them. Necessarily, I don't have that kind of budget, so I don't want to do that. So what I look for is through their featured PCs, and right now they have a really cool fall sale going on. So this one, if you look at it, it's $500 off, and it's $979. So for all this stuff, and here, this looks like a good PC for me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on top of it, and instead of quick view, I'm going to click on customize. So now comes the part of actually deciding what I want in the PC. This looks pretty good. This is what's going to ship to me for $979, but I feel like I can do something much better because I want to see where I'm spending my money. So, and make the necessary changes. So first of all, they don't have any kind of like, I haven't added any of the fall massive promotions, which are the first thing that come up. So if you look at it, you've got stuff like CyberPowerPC Elite mouse, keyboard, all that, and it's all just $5, so that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually pick all of them, because they actually come with keyboards and stuff, but these look better. They also have a free mouse, so I'm going to go and click on that. Notice how at the bottom, the price has already started shifting based on what you're adding. I have plenty of HDMI cables, so I'm not going to get that. Gaming chair to be nice, but my couch is working fine right now, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Next up, now that we're done with the massive promotion section, now comes the gaming chases, which is basically the case that it sits in. Now, this isn't just to, like, put it on top. It actually does have to do with like cooling and all that stuff. So as you can see, they've got quite a few models, and this is one of the really nice features of the website. Notice how here it actually shows you very clearly that if you select that thing, what's going to happen to the price. If I select this one, it's going to go up $228. I don't want that, and this one's already like 120mm liquid cooling support. So there's actually things here that are like double that, 240 liquid cooling support. Again, I'm not technical enough to know what that means, so I'm kind of going by looks and price here. And this one looks pretty nice, but then you've got this one, which is in the same category, and it's $19 cheaper. It'll actually make the price go 19 down, and it looks pretty cool too. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that. And now look again, it went down to 980 points. Now, I'm going to go to the next part, which is once I've picked the gaming chases, again, that's all done. They have more and more options that if you're willing to spend a little more money. After you do that, and you have see a lot of options and numbers you can have. Once all that is done, now there's the laser engraving part. Here you can decide if you want them to upload a picture, if you want them to create a custom message for you, any custom pictures, whatever. I'm just going to pick this, and I'll say something like Pakistani Pepper's PC. I'm an English teacher, so I like alliteration. Ask your English teacher what that is if you don't know. Now, lighting. This is just, I guess, to make the thing look cool, so I'm not really spending much money on that. Case fans. This depends, like, obviously has to do with cooling and all that stuff. But of course, I already picked a pretty cool liquid cooling option, so I'm just going to go with the default case fans. After that, noise reduction technology. I don't really need a lot of noise reduction because I don't play games for extensive periods of time. So I'm fine with this. This is the part that you want to get serious about. Now look at this. This is called the CPU AMD Ryzen 7. This is the one they have built in. Now, a lot of these CPUs, as you can see, are more or less expensive. Obviously, the Ryzen 5 is less expensive than the Ryzen 7. And they've got multiple series here. But what does this even mean? So in order to check that, like how much I would really need, here's what I do. I'm going to go to Steam, which is the one of the biggest digital stores for games. And then I'm going to click, let's say a game I really want to play. I'll take Tomb Raider, and I type it on Steam, and I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one of the more recent ones. So I click on it, and this has got view page. Please enter a valid date. It really wants me to enter my birthday. Did it log me out? Anyway, I enter Shadow of Tomb Raider. This was released in 2018. Exactly, so it's very recent, 2018. So if your computer can run this, it's probably good. It's a AAA title. It requires a lot of graphics power, so let's look at it. When you go down this screen, look at what it shows you, the Windows system requirements. It says Windows 7, obviously we're going with Windows 10, I just like to keep the latest version. Now look at this, the processor. It says i3, these weird numbers, Intel or AMD equivalent. So AMD, right now I'm equipped with an AMD Ryzen 7. So the minimum is a 3, so it'll run well over that. And now look at this. Here in the recommended processor power, it says Intel Core i7 or AMD Ryzen 5 1600. Again, I have the Ryzen 7 2700. So this will more than run what they say is like the recommended thing. I could even go one down and still be in the recommended range for 50, but I want to keep upgrading again. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one. After that, it says if you have, you pick the AMD Ryzen 1700X, you get a free $50 Amex gift card. But I'm at the 2700, so I'm not going to go back down to the 1700. You can decide that if you want, because it's actually a pretty good saving. You go to this one, so you get minus 50, and you get the $50 gift card. Your choice. Once I have that, now they say that do you want overclocking? I don't understand this concept that much, but it basically just has to do with, I guess, how much it's again, it's for very, very pro level gamers, I think, so I'm not going to bother with it too much. Processor cooling fan, this is just to keep the system cool, and I already have, they already picked one for me here. That's included in the price. And technically, if I want, I can upgrade to this one. It's a free upgrade, so I went ahead and I selected that one. They look about the same to me. Now, once my PC is nice and cool, again, you can spend this much on cooling, but if you're not a super pro gamer, you probably don't need it. If you're not gaming professionally, like Ninja, this coolant, it's only going to work for if a specific type of cooling, so I'm not dealing with that anyway. The motherboard, this is basically the thing that's like the air traffic control of your PC, and it just keeps everything connected. They already have one built in here, and as I can see, it's already made for gaming. So, and none of them are really much cheaper, so I'm just going to go ahead and stay with the one that they actually gave me. There's one, none of them are cheaper. This one's like $4 more, but I'm just going to go with the one they gave me. When I don't really understand something, I like to keep their recommendations. Once I've done all that, I'm going to go to basically down the list, and I am currently at 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, if you look back at Shadow of Tomb Raider, that's the minimum 8 gigabytes of RAM. They actually recommend 16 gigabytes of RAM. This is basically what's going to keep your computer running. So how much process it can run. So if I do this, that's a $97 plus. So I might have to go back and see if I can cut prices somewhere else to make up for this. But personally, I would like to go with the 16 gigabyte one. Now, here is the next really important part, the video card. If you look at this, Steam, they mention that the graphics, you need the NVIDIA GTX 660 or GTX 1050 or AMD Radeon HD 7770. Here, the AMD Radeon one is pretty old, so that one is pretty old, so it's not even here. But it's what they say in the recommended section, AMD Radeon RX 480 8 gigabytes. I have the AMD Radeon RX 580 4 gigabytes. So then this will run just fine. I can cut $95 out of it by going to the AMD Radeon RX 550. But again, I sometimes feel like, or because there's a free upgrade right now, the RX 560. But again, sometimes I just feel like if you want to make a purchase, you make a one-time purchase so that this will last for a long time. Trust me, this computer is already more than powerful enough to handle most indie games and at least most of the games that come out, even AAA titles if you don't want to push them to maximum. Because this right here, the recommended, usually it's for if you want to push it to maximum settings. Again, remember in PC games you can set what you want it to look like. So once all that is done, you see this is insane. Some of the prices of the gaming cards, the video cards, that's only going to be if you like are going to professional gaming. Now look at this freebie of video card. So I've got the AMD Radeon X. The reason I was going to that and I wasn't looking at the NVIDIA is because they actually they're giving you a free 3-game bundle if you buy that. So it's a good way to kickstart your library. These are SI bridges, but this is only for if you have a dual video card, whatever, so I'm not going to bother with that. Again, this is a power supply thing. A cable management adapter, which I can't even use because it's only for EVGA video cards, whatever that is. Virtual reality headset, I don't really care about that, but if you're into it, look at there's the option. Video capture card, this is important if you want to actually stream, if you want to actually record, all that. This might actually be a really good expenditure, but I already have a software in place so that I can download anytime, so I don't really need this. And most Windows computers come built in with Windows Suite for recording video games anyway. So since I don't do it professionally, I don't really care that much either. Power supply. For most mid-power PCs, you can be fine with the 600 watts, and that's what they gave me. So I'm going to leave that. But if you look at it, actually, the 1000 watts, this one, because it's on a sale, the 750 watts is actually cheaper. And then if you go to all the way down to the 1000 watt gold power supply, this is just $8 more, so you get 400 watts for $8 more. You may not always need it, but sometimes it's not terrible to spend a little more there. Once all that is done, here come the other thing, primary hard drives. Here you have to decide what you actually want in terms of, well, hard drive space basically. The included price is the 1 terabyte cache 7200 RPM hard disk drive HDD. Hard disk drives have a lot more storage, but they're also considerably slower. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm going to go ahead and get SSD plus hard drive combo, or a regular SSD. And SSD is a solid state drive. It is much, much, much faster than a regular hard drive. Day and night, makes it feel like a new computer even if you put an SSD in an old computer. So they've got some mixtures here. Basically what that means is you'll have 2 drives in one computer, one to run Windows every time you start it, one to save your files. Speeds up the process nicely, helps in like backing up, like if one of your hard drives fails, the other one is still there. But I feel like I'm not really gonna get much into that, so I've got basic solid state drives that I can get, and this one is actually cheaper. So I'm going to get the 240 gigabyte solid state drive for minus $12. I click on that. It's here. And then if you want a little more space, you can always upgrade to this one, which is only $35 more, but you get 260 gigabyte extra, and it's super fast. So, and then you've got this one again. It's a higher level of SSD, should be a little bit faster, only $5 more. You can go with that one. Once you've got all that, you keep going, and now you get to secondary hard drive. Again, this is what I was talking about before. Do you want another hard drive in your system? If you already picked the SSD plus HD option up there, you don't need it. Again, I don't really care for a second hard drive that much. I know a lot of pro gamers will. Hard drive cooling fan. Again, I don't game that vigorously, so I feel like I don't need that much cooling options. I already have a pretty good chases, whatever. Good power supply. External storage. I have plenty of flash drives or whatever. I don't need it. I keep going now, and now it's the optical drive. This is like if you want physical CD drive in the actual thing, and you can even get an external optical drive. I have one like this at home. I'm just going to correct it with a USB, and it actually just reads any CD. Besides, all my games are digital anyway through Steam, so I don't really care. This is if you want to display it on TVs, you're gaming. But you can do that again with a standard HDMI wire anyway. This is if you want built-in wireless, but if you guys notice up at the top when I was doing the initial fall sale, massive sale featured promotions, let me get you back to it. They actually have a Wi-Fi option already included in here, so when that card is there, I don't really need internal Wi-Fi, I think. Once I'm able to do all that and I get to get back to, I've got the external stuff done, I've got the optical drive stuff done, I've got that done, and now the sound high definition. I like to just include high definition onboard audio. The reason I'm saying you don't necessarily need to invest in really cool sound cards or whatever is because, well, you're going to be having a monitor. So you can have a monitor, you can have a TV connected to it. They have monitors in here, but I have a TV I just plan on connecting it to, so I'm going to keep that. Just a quick thing, you notice the last one here where it says DirectX version 11. That's not software you get, that's not hardware you buy, that's like software that's going to be that's more on the computer end of it. That's a software end issue, not a hardware end. So once all that happens, I've got the monitors, all that stuff, whatever I want. This monitor looks sick, but it's also insanely expensive. They're 4K LED, of course they would be. Anyway, if you want to play on a projector, this is again probably for pro gaming, tournaments, stuff like that. Cables, they say our expert builders ensure all cables are properly connected and routed for a clean look. I've heard some reviews say that it's not ideal, so you should just, what do you call it? You don't need extra cables, but you should still pay for the premium option. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I don't need any cables right now. I'm sure it might be a little bit cheaper than buying them individually, but even if it isn't, all HDMI wires are the same, pretty much. These are if you want external speakers. Again, I don't because I'm connecting it to a TV, which is going to carry audio. Once I do all that, then you've got the internal network card. This is the onboard gigabit LAN network. That just means I guess it'll have internet when I do wireless. Keyboard. Since I already went up there and I did the fall sale keyboard, I'm just going to go ahead and save my money here and just click none here. And then nothing for the mouse either. And then once I have all that, I already got a free mouse pad. So, and now headset, I already got one up there again for $5. I'm not going to spend money on this. Excuse me. I have a microphone, so I'm not really going to be spending on that. Gaming apparel, yeah, right. I need a t-shirt that says, what else do you need when you've got Champion? Anyway, I've got the whatever these are, I guess, for holding your equipment or whatever. I'm not really interested in all that. I have an Xbox 360 controller, and I have a Bluetooth compatible computer controller anyway. This is for if you want internal expansion USB, I guess, so you can put more USB stuff in. I don't really need that. This is for, I already got the wireless card up there in the start, so I'm not going to go with all this. I already got a router a couple of days back, so I don't need this either. And you'll probably have a router at home again if you have wireless internet. Bluetooth, I might need this, but I think I have one at home anyway. So this is for like if you want to connect wireless microphones and stuff like that to your computer. Flash media reader and writer, if you want like one of those tiny cards that you can read, like the one that you put in the Wii. This is for this is a webcam, and I feel like I can get better webcams at Amazon, or at least the same price, so I'm just going to hold off on that. Rosewell 6 outlet wall outlet. I don't need surge protectors. I have those at home. You probably want to keep these in case there's a surge, power surge. You don't want your equipment to fry. Built-in USB ports. They already have built-in USB ports, so I don't really need more stuff. External USB adapter. I guess if you want this for Ethernet adapters, this for HDMI adapters, and this for DVI, this for projecting video. I don't really need that. I'm getting Windows 10. They own those. I think that's the only option they have. Yep. And if you get the format hard drive only, that's going to be pretty useless. Once all that is done, I'm going to go to the, what do you call it? You don't want the format hard drive only, you want actual Windows in there. Once I'm done with all that, now come the option of professional wiring. This is what I was mentioning before. Right now, they say our builders ensure that all cables are properly connected and routed for a clean look, which I trust, but I've seen some reviews that say that they're not that greatly routed. So you might want to get professional cable wiring care. It's 20 bucks more. Once you're done with that, there's the Ultra Care option. This, they say, that will prolong the life of your PC. They'll have Cooler Master Thermofusion high-grade thermal compound, and they'll protect your system during shipping with this fitted expanding foam, which secures your vital components. I'm not spending on that, but hopefully it works out. Standard warranty, 1-year parts. You can get the 20 bucks extra 1-year parts, and includes the standard warranty, but also includes cost of shipping to and from repairs. Hopefully you won't need it within the first year, so I'm just going to go with the standard one. And then there's the 3-year free service plan. Includes labor and lifetime technical support. And then finally, standard processing. You can get the Rush ready to ship in 3 business days, but I guess because they actually have to build it, it takes 10 to 12 days. It'll be a while before you get it. But yeah, basically with all that, you save $289 from all the promotional upgrades. You got this for $1,071. You can always start with a cheaper base computer, but something like this can last you for a really, really long time. I'm telling you right now, the vast majority of games it's going to be able to play in a really long time, even if it can't play AAA games like at maximum settings, it's going to be able to play them at playable settings for a while. You noticed how when we were at Steam, even though this game came out just this year, these are super old processors, and 8GB RAM has been the norm for a while now, and an old graphics card, and it's still making the minimum work with that, because they don't want only people who have really, really expensive PCs to play it 5 years down the line. So this, technically, ideally, should last you more than a console would. And even though it costs more than a console, also understand you can do other stuff with it. You can do video editing, you can do your work on it. And the reason I went with this instead of a laptop is because gaming laptops are never really that portable. You're not really going to bust out a laptop and start playing a game on the bus. You need proper, in my opinion, like sitting to do that. So anyway, once you do all that, you have built your own PC. And again, you can decide here what you want to cut out, what you want to keep. And I am not going to, I'm not really going to go above and beyond that. I'm not going to go too far below it, but I'm also not going to go too far above it. And you can decide where you want to spend that money. But again, they've got options here. CyberPowerPC is a reputed company, and they do well, and I've heard that they have pretty good customer service as well. Once you're able to do all that, you can of course always decide if you want to go into the other one. Like for example, they have these which almost look like consoles, and again they come with the Ryzen 5, all that stuff, and they're again a little more expensive than consoles, but they can do more than consoles as well. Anyway, that's the tutorial. If you want to build your own PC, I hope you like it. Be sure to leave a comment below, subscribe, and always remember, sometimes life's best lessons are in the stories we hear least. This is Pakistani Pepper saying peace out and stay peppery. Good night.